Let's work. Yo, it's go time, showtime, never backing down time. One shot, yo, make it count, yo. Crunch time, shine time, make this moment my time. Get a grip, yo. Ready, set, go. We bring the thunder. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Yeah, it's my time, yo time. Step into the spotlight. Get lit, yo. Let yourself go. On time, high time. Gotta go big time. This is it, yo. Never take no flight time. Grind time. Take it to the street time. Turn the roof off. Get loco. Game time, win time. We gon' bring it home time. No regrets now. Let it all go. We bring the thunder. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder.
All right, good evening and welcome to Mountain Bears. I'm Aeson, and of course with me tonight is the Techie with Moses, Techy-ish show. Guys, if you are having trouble finding us on Facebook, there's a reason for that. They tried to delay it, did not want us to go live on Facebook on the Aeson profile. Literally, like 4 times to get it to go through. Meta, you keep it up. You just keep it up, don't you?
I don't know. I think we just need to get Barbara Streisand to do a PSA for Meta called Meta Do Better.
Well, I think we need to get Barbara Streisand and I don't know anybody else to sit down with the little twerk and explain to him that he's designed a program. He's designed something that's now become part of our culture. He can't, and I repeat, can't keep doing shit to piss it off, to kill it so that he can move over and try to take over Second Life.
You know,
especially when the technology is not there.
No, I don't think it, because I mean, don't get us wrong, Second Life is amazing and we enjoy Second Life, and there are a lot of people working in Second Life and making money in Second Life. There are some absolutely amazing, wonderful creators, but
right,
and this is the big but. That was the inception point of Second Life.
Right.
Was this immersive VR experience, and we're still barely able to even have something that might be like what we thought it would be.
Right.
Like, and that's if you buy a really high-end computer, you pick up an Oculus headset, and like you're willing to like accept some things.
Right.
Oh yeah, so Devin's like, is why I switched to watching on YouTube. Facebook is full of problems.
Yes, and continue to have problems. Thank you for my coffee, Invisible. All right, so with that, let's dig into some news now. For those watching the Murdoch trial, it was interesting. It clearly shown that those lawyers were not paying attention to the help at all.
Okay, what happened?
Okay, we all know that his best friends are the ones that he's using as his defense attorneys.
Okay.
So, Blanca is up there, which is the house manager, aka the housekeeper, testifying, and he gets up to cross-examine her, and he goes, "I don't think we've ever met, have we?" And she looks at him and goes, "Yes, sir, a number of times." Okay, that was just like the class system. And then, we've seen that, the CNAs that take care of him or his mother are all nervous to testify because they may lose their jobs testifying against the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that it's kind of an impossible spot to put people in.
Right.
Is testify against your employer, lose your job.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, is it retaliatory? Yes. Does it happen? Oh, yeah. And I think, honestly, you would want it to. Like, that would be a very awkward position to remain in.
What I find more interesting is that none of the in-laws have shown up in court.
Oh.
Yeah.
So none of her family, the wife's family, none of them have showed up.
No.
Yeah.
We don't know if they're going to testify or not. We have heard about how it was unusual for him to visit his mother. And I got to thinking, now I will call my mother at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. She's up. Okay.
Or at least she is when the phone rings.
No, she's normally awake, knitting, crocheting, whatever. My mother has been a night bird forever. Hello, Miss Shannon. So it kind of strikes me a little funny when, and it's usual, we'll call. I wouldn't go visit her at that hour, but, call, have a conversation, because it's normally when she's getting ready to calm down and I'm getting ready to go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, no, never comes over, never a part of this, never, it's very unusual for him to visit. And I'm like, of course it's unusual for anyone to visit at night, especially in the deep south.
So they're talking to the night staff about does he ever visit? And it's like, are we having a derp moment?
Right.
Like, no. Your answer is gonna probably be no. Like,
right.
Why did you waste everyone's time to get,
Yeah.
Like, what did you think you proved?
Well, because he went over the night of the murders. That's his alibi. He was visiting his mother, who has Alzheimer's. And I'm quite sure, by the way, I think he's guilty of his son at this point. I think they haven't figured out yet that he rinsed himself off at the kennel.
Well, but then again, all the pictures they show of the kennel, there's always water.
Yeah, there's all this water. It
just stays wet.
No, and that was another testimony today about how they would clean the kennel. They would take the dog bed. Of course, you pick up the dog bed, put it on top of the dog kennel, so that the dog ain't laying in a wet bed.
Fair enough.
That night.
Okay.
It was soaking wet with everything else.
Okay.
But it's not the prosecutor that's brought this up. It's the defendant. His lawyers keep bringing it up. So my question is, are they trying to tell the prosecution this is how he done it?
I don't know. Either that or they're just pointing out inconsistencies with normal. And I mean, sometimes you layer those together and it's like you take this aspect and that aspect and this aspect and that aspect and this aspect. You just keep building, and eventually what the hope is that it's like, this isn't him. It couldn't have been him. If he were cleaning out the kennels, he would have picked up the beds, because he does this all the time.
Right.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, that would potentially be an argument. Like, if he does this all the time and there's a set way he does it, why would he have done it differently that night?
Right.
Like, we're all creatures of habit. Like, there are certain things that you just do in a certain order, and you're not, no matter what happens, you're going to keep doing it.
Yeah. But it was also more impressive. She literally told the prosecutor the dresser drawer that an item of clothing belongs in.
Okay.
Because he has a closet like mine. And I'm like, there are days I can't remember which bin has my socks in it. This housekeeper knows exactly where these clothes were.
Yeah, something tells me that's because that's been a set fixed system daily for a very long time, and he's probably very angry when things aren't back where they're supposed to be. And or, like, if that's your job, because I mean, part of this is also remembering that, that's her job.
Yeah.
Like, that's that's part of the job description. That's what she has to do. That's her focus.
Right.
I think I could be very good at knowing which one's the sock drawer if that's a very specific part of my task list.
Right.
I mean, granted, like, the dresser in the bedroom, like, I'm still messed up because you split a drawer. Because that's not what that drawer is.
Actually, I split
and,
two.
Well, yeah. But one in particular, the shirt drawer, my where my t-shirts are, got split, and it's now like I keep forgetting the other one. Because for the longest time it was shorts. Like dress shorts versus like anyway, things got moved around a couple of times in the last few years. Since moving up and then again. And so, yeah, I just keep having this glitch of like, what happened to all my, like tank tops?
They're in the tank top.
It's like, oh yeah, they're in a different drawer.
Yeah. If it went around the wood, I'd label them for you.
No labeling allowed.
I know. Like I said, if it wouldn't ruin anything, I'd label it for you.
No.
Yeah. So that was today. We're looking at 2 more weeks of trial before it is handed to the jury. This was supposed to be a 3 to 4 week trial, but the financial information, like the shit this dude got by with, is insane.
Yeah. Is it though?
Yeah.
I mean, because here's the thing is, like, I had fun with the whole, like, the last testimony I watched all about the financial crimes.
Right.
In which they were interviewing the office manager.
Right.
And I'm just sitting here going, you're working really hard.
Right.
In this testimony to make sure that you look guilt-free, the firm looks guilt-free, that we didn't know anything about nothing. If we had known, and we wouldn't have engaged in that kind of behavior.
Right.
And I'm like, bullshit. You knew this was sketchy as hell. You knew what he was trying to do because of the lawsuits and shield his assets. And I'm sure you would have helped him gladly. Right. Not had a problem with it. But you can't get up on a stand and keep your job and your law firm, stay in business. If you get up and say, oh, yeah, we totally helped him, like, go through and shield his assets and make sure that he was going to come out of this without any problems. And we told him how to transfer everything to his wife. And, and I don't believe for a second, truthfully, honestly, that they were not already at least a little aware.
Well, they were not going to help shield his assets. Okay. They literally, that was part of the reason, and listening to the accountant's testimony, which is obvious none of the men in this group paid attention to women at all. Okay, because the accountant for the law firm is fucking nailing him piece by piece by piece. Which
are you almost just waiting for when they bring her back against the entire firm, just like, and you did this, and you did that, and you did this other thing. Of course, then again, here's the thing with accountants. Like in general principle, they know everything you're doing.
Yeah.
Like this is why, like, Trump's accountants were such a big fucking deal.
Right.
In terms of, like, what did he do and when? Because someone has to cook the books.
Right.
Someone has to make this all look legitimate for the IRS, or you get shut down.
Right.
And it, like, at the point in which you're being called into court, the only thing as the accountant you can do is be like, this is what he did. I handled the books and I told him it was wrong.
Right. Well, he fooled her. And, because he set up the fake Forge. And she thought she was writing checks to Forge. Now, I have friends that are accounting. You don't fool them. And if you do, you're screwed.
Well, see, but here's the thing, though. It's not really about fooling anyone. Because, that's one way of putting it, is he submitted a fake invoice.
Right.
Effectively. And like she paid, like the money got paid out. It looked legitimate. This
Right.
is a legitimate business name
Mhm.
that we deal with, routinely.
Every one of those lawyers deal with routinely because that's their preferred company to do their structured settlements to. Which I didn't know lawyers could do structured settlements also.
How do you mean? Oh, as in like the law, like as in the client actually wins the major cash award, and then the lawyer for the client
Mm-hmm.
that wins the award can decide, let's do that as a structured settlement.
Yeah, let's do that as a structured settlement. You can take my money, put it into an annuity, and pay me out over the next 20 years.
Right. No, yeah, you can do that. Like that's a perfectly legal thing to do. That's a perfectly normal thing to do. A lot of people don't want the tax burden, tax nightmare of getting like a lump sum 1 million and getting kicked off of, say, some, or potentially having conflicts and issues with some government programs.
Right.
That you receive too much cash. You're not
No,
going
the
to
lawyer's fee, you can actually defer it and put it into a structured settlement. That was interesting. Like if the lawyer's fee is like $1 million, he can literally take $100,000 a year instead of $1 million.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's something I learned out of listening to, and I want a Ford account just so I can deal with Daddy Ford. Woof. He was woof.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I will get much more happier dealing with our bank if we open an account with Forge.
Oh, okay. But no, but then again, that also begs the question, if she deals with this company frequently.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's one of those things you start to know, because, and I'm just speaking from just the perspective of being the accountant, or the treasurer, for a hospital or volunteer organization.
Mm-hmm.
That you quickly learn your vendors.
Right.
For our little volunteers, you quickly learn your vendors. You know who they are, you know where they're at, you know what their address is, because you do this over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's no big deal.
Right.
And again, at one point I had to have this conversation, which there's only so many tools in the toolbox. And like I felt fairly confident if I got a false invoice, I'm going to react to it.
Right.
Because I'm going to sit there and go, that address isn't right.
Right, but it's the other side of this. She wasn't getting invoices. She was just supposed to be writing payment checks out. And, it's like, if I came to you and told you I needed a check wrote out to AEP.
For what? Right. Give me something to pay.
Right.
I need a business document.
Right, and they were doing the disbursement sheets, and it would say to Forge, and he would ask for the check to be wrote to Forge.
Fine, that's great.
And I'll take it to him. I'm going to dinner tonight.
Why? Stamps are plentiful.
I know. Well, they've got metered system. You know, as rich as they are. Oh, I'll just take and drop it off. I'm seeing him for dinner tonight. I'll take the check.
Yeah, I think once or twice I'd be like, okay. And probably about the third time it would be like, we can just mail this.
Yeah.
Like, why would you want to keep doing that? How many times do you pay them out in a month?
Right.
Like, you would think that there would be a number of cases, and you would, like, why would you see just batch them up or go to dinner every single time there's a check? Like, that seems like a really uncomfortable relationship.
According to the office, they were good friends. Okay. According to the guy, he's like, I saw him like once or twice.
Yeah. See, that would have started raising eyebrows for me.
See, but it didn't for his paralegal. He just thought, okay, that's fine. Here's the check. You can go ahead and do that.
No, I'm sorry. That would have raised eyebrows for me
Right.
because one, I am kind of sensitive to like any kind of situation where you're that close to a vendor
Uh-huh.
because again, that opens a door for abuse of the relationship.
Right. Well, this whole fucking thing is abusive relationships. It sounds like it's a damn
Yeah,
frat house and a bunch of mama birds are
yeah,
taking care of it.
it
Um,
is.
literally.
What? How did you think law firms work?
Well, it's not only law firms. Like, he's in the thing that set all this off was he was with his actual supposed best friend co-laundering something, and he
Mm-hmm.
screwed up. Okay, he screwed up and didn't make the check come through the law firm for him to then take to the fake forge company. He had his best friend just hand him the check. That pissed the accountant off, and she went to investigate and confronted
Ta-da!
him the morning of the murders.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly, but anyway. So that's been interesting to watch. Of course, if you guys are wanting to watch the stream that I'm watching, it's Emily D. Baker. I love her legal commentary. She really brings it together. So the Church of England's making some improvements. Not exactly, but improvements.
Well, Church of England okays blessing for same-sex couples, but it still won't marry them.
But it's movement
It's
toward
progress.
It's progress. We take progress. The Church of England has been in debate for about 2 days.
After 2 days of divisive debate, the Church of England voted on Thursday to offer blessings to same-sex couples, but clergy members can opt not to use the prayers, and the church will maintain its ban on same-sex marriage. The vote came at a meeting of the General Synod. I'm assuming I'm saying that right. The church's governing body, where the compromise approach was described in a variety of ways as a breakthrough, a flawed compromise, or an outright mistake. Quote, I know that what we have proposed as a way forward does not go nearly far enough for many, but too far for others, said Bishop of London, Sarah Mully, who has overseen the development of the proposals, but she added, this is a moment of hope for the church.
Right.
Ugh.
It's a
So the text of the go ahead. What now?
It's a movement forward.
It's a movement forward. Yeah, it's. I mean, it is. I don't know. Somehow it just seems wrong that in 2023 this is as far as they've gotten.
Right.
Like, come on, Church of England.
Well,
I thought Church of England was supposed to be pretty cool and laid back, like
they're
Methodist.
getting there. You got to remember, they are slowly stepping forward. They are slowly growing. They're one of the few organizations that actually has female pastors, Viticars. It's a step forward. It's also a step forward for the church that we have not seen out of the next largest church, the Vatican.
True. Well, I mean, but then again, when the Catholic Church,
Mm-hmm.
In Rome, refuses to do these things, it's almost understandable on a level because, yeah, you've kind of had some problems moving forward with the times.
Mm-hmm.
But wasn't the whole point of Church of England just to allow Henry VIII to divorce?
Mm-hmm.
Or no, King James. What? No?
Henry VIII.
Henry VIII. Yeah. Okay, I didn't write the
want to
first
rewrite the Bible badly to, disguise create
I
the
thought that
fear
was
of
King
witches.
James.
Yeah, that's King James.
Yeah.
He was fearful of women and witches. Henry VIII, the one that broke away from the Vatican so that he can get a divorce.
There we go.
Now the priest can at least do what they call a blessing. This is because in England, for a very long time now, there have been two forms of marriage. There is the civil marriage, which is the contract between the government and the two parties.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the religious marriage, which is whichever church or synagogue or whatever you want to go to and get married, you can go to and get married. The Church of England hasn't been able to do a blessing, or they can't get married in the church. Now they can at least do a blessing, which is what would normally happen after your civil marriage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Could we just all get away from church marriages? Can we just not do that?
We'll get there. We're also seeing this as a dying business, and it's a fact.
Oh yeah.
My other show, I was talking to someone a couple of weeks ago, and they're like, "There is no church here,"
Mm-hmm.
and that they live in Czech Republic. There is no churches. We have them, but they have no pole, no nothing.
Yeah. It's like, a cute little building and some little old people go in it.
If that. What I find more interesting is we see this movement by the Church of England, while we've got the far right here trying to, exile, and, I think within the past 6 months have called for my death a number of times.
Yeah, another week in the U.S.
Yeah.
But yeah, and a lot of that has to do historically, with the fact that we made some very interesting choices that are having some really bad long-term effects. During World War II,
right,
which was to meet Nazi atheism with this United Front of Christianity in the U.S. To throw In God We Trust, One Nation Under, we just made our patriotism about God,
right,
in a very Christian-y way,
right,
and basically used all this in a propaganda sense, to form this hatred, to win a war. Now, we won a war for good reasons, and these were good things at the time,
right.
However, it unfortunately married government and religion.
Right.
It was a shotgun wedding. It was ill-conceived. Like, we were pregnant with a war. There was nothing, it worked. But it married the two together, and then somehow we thought at no point would religion come back to government and demand anything from it.
Right.
Au contraire.
It's looking for a lot. Now, what's interesting is the opening of the church admits something very big, and it's not really being talked about, because it's like, what? That is, this consensus reconciles commitment and learning and deep listening to God in each other, and to each other, the living in the love and faith process and desire with God to help journey together, to acknowledge the difference deeply convicted conventions within this church, lament and repent of the failure of the church to be welcoming to LGBTQ plus people, and the harm that the LGBT people have experienced and continue to experience in the life of the church. They just admitted they've been doing us wrong.
Yeah. We done you dirty.
Yes.
And we're going to be better.
Right.
We're not going to let you get married, but we're going to be better.
Yeah.
See where I'm at with that is, it's just like, you almost got it. You almost got it. You almost got it.
They're getting there.
Exactly. It's just, I'm like, it's 2023. Could you get there? Can everyone just get there faster?
Well, we're looking at about 20 years. I mean, we got to wait for the baby boomers to move on. What's interesting is the votes: 36 for bishops, 36 bishops for, 4 against, 2 abstained. Clergy 1011 for, 85 against, 3 abstained. Leighton, it was 103-4, i.e. the female vicars, and 92 against, and 5 abstained.
Oh, there you go.
To this amendment. This is an important move. This is, this is like watching the UU recognize that, oh, by the way, we need to like cover more than what we should.
Yes.
Yeah,
I don't know. The UUs are fun.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes a little scary, but fun.
Right.
Like, UUs are interesting.
Right. What's interesting is it also came with a moment of silence and prayer, reflecting on the damages the Church of England has done to the LGBT. Good move. We take progress where we can get it. All right, guys, let's take a break, and we'll be back.
All right.
Hi, I'm Dottie the Psychic, and I'm sure you're wondering why I'm not wearing any makeup. Well, one reason is to irritate my social media manager, Aeson Knight. Hi, Aeson. The other reason is because I like to get to the naked truth about what it means to be a neurodivergent LGBT person with psychic abilities. I've got vlogs, blogs, and podcasts and videos all related to trying to live my best life and helping witches and bitches do the same thing. So, you can check all that out and get a reading from Dottie the Psychic at DOTTIEthepsychic.com. Safe travel and much profit to you.
Do you have a cute pet? We know you do. Each week, Tracy Van chooses from submitted photos a featured reader for her Facebook page and provides a tarot reading. Your adorable pet cat, dog, rabbit, goat, chicken, snake, or more could be her next featured reader. Visit tracybann.com, TracyBann.com, and click Featured Reader to submit. We look forward to seeing your pet next.
Hey everybody, Lady Gwendolyn here, and I am here to tell you how to get in contact with me and a little bit about what I do. I am the High Priestess that works with shadow work to help you grow and heal. And I work with access bars, Reiki, I do power forms. I'm recently getting into crystal healing, sound therapy as well. So you can go to Lady Gwendolyn Healing, that is LadyGwendolynHealing.com. Book your appointment with me. I do in person, I do over the phone, I do over Zoom. We can do that as well. My main goal is to help you grow and heal, because I've been there, I'm still going through it, and I let my strength help guide you. See you soon.
Hey everybody, Natalie here from The Pendulum's Path. If you are in need of guidance, direction, spiritual connection, healing, or more, you have come to the right place. I have worked as a psychic and a medium for over 3 years, connecting people from all over the world with their loved ones, giving them insight and guidance into their current situations, their past healings, their blockages, and what they need to know in order for them to have a better future. It would be my absolute honor if you would come to my website at www.thependulumspath.com. Visit my shop. I have a whole bunch of crystals, oils, balms, mystery boxes, and more. And visit my services. I offer 15-minute, 30-minute, and 60-minute sessions. I also have email readings available if you're not comfortable with the one-on-one session with me, or if you just want to try me out. I encourage you to come visit me at the Pendulum's Path, and let's get you back on the right track today.
All right, welcome back. So President Biden's been doing some more target practice at China.
Oh, no!
Yes. As we know, they had to wait to blow the balloon up, to shoot the balloon from China, because it was too big, 3 school buses big, and as it traveled through populations, it could have killed people, it could have crashed on cars. They didn't know exactly what technology.
If they shot it down.
If they shot it down. They shot it down in the Atlantic because then it could fall, hit the water, big deal.
Right.
It pissed off some fish, maybe made a whale a little sick. That's okay.
There we go.
Okay. The Republicans are like, shoot it down. And they're like, 3 school buses crashed into the earth on fire, and we don't know what it's filled with. I don't think so. Marjorie, have you done some analysis? Did you listen to the briefing of what it could look like? No, great. Then, no, we're not shooting that down.
Not right there, right now.
Exactly. Let it get to where we can shoot it down safely.
I don't know. Gotta love Republicans and their shoot now, like shoot first, shoot again, shoot some more, and when everyone's dead, try to get a few questions answered.
Exactly. But
it just like sometimes you have to stop and think before you pull the trigger. All right.
Yep. So this morning, the Pentagon said they shot down an unidentified object over the frozen waters around Alaska on Friday at the orders of President Biden. Shoot them down. Less than a week after the U.S. jets brought down the Chinese balloon over the Atlantic in an episode that increased the tension between Washington and Beijing, U.S. officers says they could not immediately confirm whether the object was a balloon, but it was traveling at an altitude that made a potential threat on civil aircraft.
All right, I'd love to take that one over, but unfortunately, it is throwing the paid content to me.
That's fine. Friday's shoot down showed that Mr. Biden has taken direct and forceful action more quickly than he did last week, when some Republican lawmakers criticized him for letting the spy balloon linger over the United States for several days before destroying it. But at the period observed last week, allowing the American officers collected intelligence about the spy balloon, and when the episode on Friday, officials seemed unsure of what exactly they shot down. It's kind of hard to put back together what you blow up with an F-16.
Yeah, it does take a little bit.
It does, but they took it down. It entered their airspace, and what's interesting is Canada is going, shoot them. Biden called it. We're following behind. Have at it.
Exactly. But no, I mean, there was never going to be a good version of this at the point in which it crossed into populated areas.
Right.
You really do have to wait for it to cross out of populated areas. Because again, we're not talking about like a nuclear warhead.
Right.
We're not talking about, something that clearly, obviously poses a threat greater than, or great enough, clearly great enough, to warrant risking other human lives.
Right, because we don't know what it is in the air. I mean, they could have filled it with mustard gas. They could have filled it with virus. They could have filled it with who knows what. It is better to take something down that is not going to just like rain down the sky in the middle of Chicago or Montana, where most of our meat come from. Take it out over water before it gets here or after it leaves here, before it can rendezvous.
Absolutely.
I
don't know why that was
the size of a small car.
Yeah. I don't know why people have such a problem with that one. Like, it's pretty straightforward, pretty easy.
Well, what got me even more is these idiots that took out their rifles and went out and tried to shoot the balloon down themselves because the president's not taking action, so we will do it ourselves.
Oh, God. You're kidding, right?
No, I'm not.
Like, oh, God. I don't know which is dumber, firing straight up in the air? Because, I'm sorry, that's just, no, please don't do that. Or two, thinking that you have that kind of range. Like, I don't care, like, what are you operating? Because I'll tell you. At the altitude it was at, you're not getting anywhere near it. Oh my God. What do you think you're shooting?
They have no clue. Like, they just see it up there.
Like, I mean, I know for some people, like, physics is hard, like, really hard. But, like, if you're firing straight up, you're having to also overcome not just distance, but gravity.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot more of it than normal.
Right.
Because if you are trying to shoot in a straight line,
Right.
you know, at eyesight level, there's a certain amount of gravity pull down that you have to compensate for. When you're trying to shoot straight up, like, yeah, gravity's going to work against you a lot.
Right.
A whole lot more. Because everything that you are doing is being countered by gravity.
Right.
Of this thing going up must come down.
Right.
Dear sweet Jesus.
Like, even
it. Well, go ahead.
First of all, if you're shooting straight up in the air, that bullet's going to come down or come at an arc, meaning it's going up and going down. I wonder how many people got gunshots and they don't know where they came from. Watch CSI. There's actually a few episodes on this behavior, you idiot rednecks that do not apparently know how to operate your gun that you think shoots 200 feet when the balloon is at least 10 miles to 100 miles above you. You're cute. You ain't going to touch it. But what's more interesting is the shot-down balloon by the U.S. was equipped to detect and collect intelligence signals as part of a huge military-linked aerial surveillance program that targeted more than 40 countries. The Biden administration declared Thursday, citing images of the U.S. U-2 spy planes. So they've got Chinese intelligence equipment now in their office.
Yep. Which, I mean, here's the other question. Was this just being used to collect it on the belief that they could steer it back to them or get it back into an area where they could retrieve it?
Right.
Or was this broadcasting back? Because there could be a much larger
it had to be
application.
collected.
Pardon?
It had to be collected.
Okay, good. Because that means that nothing that our decision not to shoot it down did not mean that they got all the data they wanted anyway. And then we got the space junk.
Right.
Effectively.
Right.
But it also means that, you know, if we were, like, it would have also been interesting if it had been sending back information. Because depending upon the amount of damage done taking it down,
right,
we would have been able potentially to find out how they're sending that information.
Right.
That's also a very valuable thing. You don't just want to blow up and send slamming into, you know, the ground.
Exactly. Like, we may gain more information from the recovery than we would ever have gained. Granted, no, it would have to have been waterproof because it would have gone through rain.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting.
Well, and on water, it should have landed slightly softer.
Right.
Depending upon if they could do anything to control its descent.
Right.
But it should have landed softer. I mean, not to mention, if you design this for retrieval later, you're assuming it's going to have to come down.
Right.
And that it may not do that delicately.
Right.
So you're going to build it with a little more oomph to land and be retrievable. But no, at the same time, you also learn a lot by what someone programmed it to do. What were they thinking? What were they trying to accomplish? Where was it headed? What did it pick up? Why was that interesting to someone? And it starts to, like, work it backwards. If this is what they wanted, then what was the original question? What was the original concern? What was the original impetus to send it up?
Right. Now, what's interesting is the U.S. has also launched some missiles to remind China that, oh, by the way, our silos still work. Thank you very much. You may not know where all of them are. You can't see them, but we have them. The other thing here that I find interesting is it came out that this isn't the first Chinese balloon to come into our space. We found out during the Trump administration, at least 8 other balloons was allowed to continue over the U.S. Not shot down, not retrieved. During the Trump administration. Why is nobody talking about that? Why is it like the third line at the end of articles?
Oh yeah. And there are some times historically that you allow someone to gather intelligence because it depending upon what they're gathering intelligence on.
Right.
Because fundamentally, in some instances, the intelligence they gather is useless.
Right.
Like you've staged it. You don't care if they know.
Right.
You know, the only thing you're going to learn from that is we can kick your ass.
Right.
So go ahead, figure it out.
Right.
You know, if you need proof, here you go. Like, we told you we could do it.
Right.
Please, feel free. So it may be more telling that what airspace did it cross into that made this a problem.
Yeah. We know at least one man died in attempting to shoot down the balloon in St. Louis.
And what brilliance did this man pull? Fall off his roof?
No, he was shot.
Oh, he was shot?
He was shot.
By himself trying to take down the balloon, or by someone else who is also trying to take down the balloon?
By himself. His own gun shot him.
I mean, it seems like an ample opportunity to remind them of the words, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Right, because he shot up and came back down.
As it does.
Yes.
Again, education's important. But moreover, I do feel bad for his family. I do feel because this is a real honest human being. And this is a horrible thing that not only affected him, but others in his life. And it is sad and it's tragic and unfortunate. At the same time, it's very hard to hear that and not immediately have the knee-jerk reaction of play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Like, this is part of because I'm sorry, it's usually very, very clearly articulated to people who know what they're doing with a gun, who took the opportunity to learn.
Right.
Don't do that for this exact reason.
Yes.
So you either didn't listen, so you knew better, and you still did it anyway.
Right.
Or this is a very sad tragedy of why the hell did you have a weapon you didn't know what the hell you were doing with?
Right.
Because, no, that's a pretty important.
Right. That's very, very important. Okay. It would be like me taking my pistol to go deer hunting. That's where we're at.
Honestly, no. I mean, it's. I kind of understand where your analogy is. That it's a poor use of weapon.
Right.
But moreover, at least if you go deer hunting with a pistol,
right.
It's very unlikely you're going to hit anything, and all you're going to do is scare off animals and keep them from getting killed. Like it's like a vegan wet dream.
Right. But then getting upset because I don't get a deer.
Well, true. And it's like you only have yourself to blame. Wrong
Speaking
weapon.
of to blame, who is to blame at JP Morgan Chase? I know somebody who's to blame. I've updated the article so you can get to it.
Ah, good. Well, no, that one actually got to just fine.
Okay.
Yeah, the original fortune. Oh, no, I did not. It
Right.
lied to me. It lied.
So JT Morgan shuts down college aid site Frank amid legal dust-up.
Oh, yeah. So
Go for it.
the bank is suing the startup's founder for exaggerating Frank's customer base ahead of JP Morgan's 2021 purchase of the platform. Frank's founder, in a separate suit, said the bank fired her unjustly.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, JP Morgan Chase on Thursday shut down the website for Frank, the college financial planning platform it bought for $175 million in September 2021. Frank is no longer available, the website reads. To file your free application for federal student aid, visit studentaid.gov. JP Morgan sued Frank's founder, Charlie Javis, and a second executive last month in federal court in Delaware, accusing Javis of vastly exaggerating the platform's customer base, then creating fake student accounts to back up her claims. In pitch materials and verbal presentations, Javis claimed Frank had 4.25 million users, but the platform's actual customer base numbered fewer than 300,000. The bank said in its suit, filed December 22nd. To cash in, Javis decided to lie, including lying about Frank's success, Frank's size, and the depths of Frank's market penetration in order to induce JP Morgan Chase to purchase Frank, the bank said in its suit, according to CNBC. When JP Morgan asked Javis to share Frank's customer list, she first said she couldn't because of privacy concerns, the bank said. After JP Morgan insisted, Javis chose to invent several million Frank customer accounts out of whole cloth, JP Morgan said, according to the Wall Street Journal. JP Morgan realized there were errors with the user list when it sent marketing emails to a batch of 400,000 Frank customers, and roughly 70% of the emails bounced back, the bank said in its suit. Oh, Javis's suit. Javis, for her part, sued JP Morgan in Delaware Chancery Court, alleging the bank launched an internal investigation of the Frank deal last spring, then fired her in November from her role as head of student solutions to get out of paying her a $20 million retention bonus, Bloomberg reported. In her suit, Javis called the investigations groundless and said the bank manufactured for-cause termination in bad faith, according to the Wall Street Journal. After JP Morgan Chase rushed to acquire Charlie's rocket ship business, they realized they couldn't work around existing student privacy laws, committed misconduct, and then tried to retrade the deal. Attorney Alex Spiro, who is representing Javis, told the publication. Charlie blew the whistle and then sued. Javis was not and is not a whistleblower. Pablo Rodriguez, a JP Morgan spokesman, told CNBC in a statement, any dispute will be resolved through the legal process. So this one's getting like spicy. Like they are going back and forth on this.
Well, they are, because Diamond done stupid. Diamond done this is money. We can make money off of student loan money, federal money. We like federal loan money.
Well, either that or basically it looked like either JP Morgan Chase was trying to situate itself with a website that would induce students to take out loans that were not student loans backed by the government, or they were looking to act as a middleman servicer of student loans.
Middleman servicer. This isn't the first time egg has been on the face, though, over dealings outside of the bank. The bank faced brutal backlash in 2021 when it agreed to underwrite up to $4.8 billion towards a breakaway European soccer league that crumbled before even one match was played. Why? Because Diamond likes soccer.
Ooh, gotta love it when that happens. But no, so this is interesting on so the customer list. After JP Morgan asked for a frank customer list, Javis asked her engineering chief to create fake customer details, including names, birthdays, and schools they attended using algorithms the bank alleges in its suit. When the engineer refused, Javis and Amar hired a data science professor at a New York area college to create the accounts, the bank said. The professor is not named in the suit and was allegedly paid $18,000. JP Morgan included in its suit emails between Javis and the professor, which the bank could access because it had acquired Frank's technology system, CNBC reported. Our plan was to sample first name and last name independently and then ensure none of the sampled names are real, the professor wrote to Javis, according to the suit. In one exchange, Javis allegedly asked the professor, will the fake emails look real with an eye check or better to use unique ID? So the Frank dust-up is an embarrassing development for JP Morgan, which, when it acquired the startup, trumpeted its desire to have lifelong engaged relationships with all of our customers. Charlie and her team have built an amazing connection to the student population. Jennifer Roberts, JP Morgan's head of consumer banking, said in 2021, JP Morgan had exited the private student lending space in 2013. It wouldn't, So I'm sorry, I have a certain enjoyment for this. Mm-hmm. I do. Like, there's just layers of enjoyment for me in this because, because see, I'm trying to remember, and I think that was an even bigger ew. When JP Morgan exited student loans.
Right.
Because I'm trying to remember, I thought it wasn't just a gentle business decision that they decided, maybe we should just leave this. I think it was a really, really bad. Oh, there we go. September 6, 2013. The Los Angeles Times is reporting that JP Morgan Chase & Company has decided to get out of the student loan business, citing competition from federal government programs, increased scrutiny from regulators, and lack of growth in the sector. The whole thing. So this is part of ConsumerHelpCentral.com. So the whole thing reads like something out of an alternative universe, and anyone who buys the rationale should call me because I've got a bridge in Brooklyn. I'd love to sell them. This is nice. This is by Jay Fleischman back in September 6, 2013. So private student loans are moneymakers for the bank. Private banks haven't been able to offer federal student loans since 2010. In the intervening 3 years from then until the time that Chase decided to pull the plug on their student loan activities, the private student loan market has exploded. The cost of higher education has increased, to be sure, but more to the point is the fact that the ancillary costs of higher education have gone through the roof. So we're talking about costs that don't get factored into the university figures. Things like gasoline to get to and from classes, food, rent for off-campus housing, and just day-to-day living. Meanwhile, the caps on federal student loans have remained unchanged. So basically, Jay Fleischman in this said, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit, JP Morgan Chase. Bullshit. You're saying there's no growth in this area? Mofo. We haven't raised the cap on federal student money in forever. Meanwhile, all the costs for students keep going up. And we've seen this. We've seen this since 2013. Rent has gone up. The price of gas has gone up. The price of food has gone up. Everything has gone up. College students have always been very reliant on that money just to exist.
Right.
Like, just to exist. Food, rent, housing, all of it factors in to, okay, you get so much money from, federal student aid. You get so much money in, grants, any kind of money like that you get as well. And then the rest of it, cough it up.
Right.
Cough it up. That, like, literally the university hits a point, like, we've done everything we can with federal student aid, and the financial aid office does everything they can do.
Mm-hmm.
You applied and you got this, cough up the rest.
Right. So
figure it out on your own.
JP Morgan spent $77 billion in 2001 for companies that were not companies that they were buying. They bought pigs in a poke, now twice, with your deposit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why they keep pushing their workers, they keep cutting back on their investment in technology. They keep boasting about buying new technology when they haven't. Bad diamond.
Mm-hmm.
Worst CEO ever. Anyhow. All right, guys, let's take a break. And when we come back, we'll see if Joe's an asshole.
All right.
Hi, I'm Dottie the Psychic, and I'm sure you're wondering why I'm not wearing any makeup. Well, one reason is to irritate my social media manager, Aeson. Hi, Aeson. The other reason is because I like to get to the naked truth about what it means to be a neurodivergent LGBT person with psychic abilities. I've got vlogs, blogs, and podcasts and videos all related to trying to live my best life and helping witches and bitches do the same thing. So, you can check all that out and get a reading from Dottie the Psychic at DOTTIEthepsychic.com. Safe travel and much profit to you.
Do you have a cute pet? We know you do. Each week, Tracy Vann chooses from submitted photos a featured reader for her Facebook page and provides a tarot reading. Your adorable pet cat, dog, rabbit, goat, chicken, snake, or more could be her next featured reader. Visit tracyvann.com, TracyBann.com, and click Featured Reader to submit. We look forward to seeing your pet next.
Hey everybody, Lady Gwendolyn here, and I am here to tell you how to get in contact with me and a little bit about what I do. I am the high priestess that works with shadow work to help you grow and heal. And I work with access bars, Reiki, I do power forms. I'm recently getting into crystal healing, sound therapy as well. So you can go to Lady Gwendolyn Healing, that is LadyGwendolynHealing.com. Book your appointment with me. I do in person, I do over the phone, I do over Zoom. We can do that as well. My main goal is to help you grow and heal, because I've been there, I'm still going through it, and I let my strength help guide you. See you soon.
Hey everybody, Natalie here from The Pendulum's Path. If you are in need of guidance, direction, spiritual connection, healing, or more, you have come to the right place. I have worked as a psychic and a medium for over 3 years, connecting people from all over the world with their loved ones, giving them insight and guidance into their current situations, their past healings, their blockages, and what they need to know in order for them to have a better future. It would be my absolute honor if you would come to my website at www.thependulumspath.com. Visit my shop. I have a whole bunch of crystals, oils, balms, mystery boxes, and more. And visit my services. I offer 15-minute, 30-minute, and 60-minute sessions. I also have email readings available if you're not comfortable with the one-on-one session with me, or if you just want to try me out. I encourage you to come visit me at the Pendulum's Path, and let's get you back on the right track today.
All
right. So, are you the asshole?
Am I the asshole? I gave my daughter a McDonald's application when she was behaving like a brat. First world problems alert. Our daughter recently turned 16. For her birthday, she was getting a vehicle. She had been learning to drive with my 2010 Nissan Titan while she held her permit. I was gifting her the truck. It was twofold, actually. I had been wanting to get a Silverado. She needed a vehicle. The day before her birthday, I had the truck professionally detailed in and out. I take the utmost care of my vehicles, both cosmetically and mechanically. The truck looks brand new, practically. On her birthday, I took her to the DMV. She thought we were there to do her road test and get her license. After she passed, I pulled the Titan's title out and said, "Happy birthday." That's when she pretty much made an embarrassing scene because, "Oh my God, I'm not driving a grandpa truck, Dad." I'm 39 for the record. She threw a tantrum because she wanted a blue Jeep Wrangler. We walked out momentarily to speak. I wanted her to know exactly how rude her behavior was when her father was giving her a truck any other 16-year-old would be extremely grateful for. Eventually, she apologized, but we had another hiccup when I told her she'll get full access to it when I get another truck, which was already in the works. I was just waiting on the bank to close the loan. Ultimately, I told her to forget it. She was just acting like a spoiled brat. Later that night, I suppose she thought about her behavior as she began asking questions, then said she realized how immature she acted. She asked, "So since you were going to sign it over to me, does that mean I could drive it for a bit, sell it, and then put the money towards a Wrangler?" My response of course you could have. By me signing the vehicle over to you, it was officially yours to do what you like with it. She says, "Oh, okay. Well, I've thought about it and I would like to have it." Nope. Doesn't work that way. You gone lost your opportunity. She totally flipped out, said I should have told her at the DMV she could sell it and keep the money. She told her mother I was being totally unfair. My wife agreed to her not getting the truck, probably because she didn't want me buying a brand new Silverado. Insert eye roll. The next day, she very sweetly asked for the truck again and then hinted around about me finally getting a Silverado. I didn't say anything. I went in my office, printed out a McDonald's employment application. I stuck it in an envelope, handed it to her. She was ecstatic, probably thinking it was the title. She opened it and said, "You suck." I told her, "If you want a Wrangler, get job." My wife said I was an idiot. I took it way too far. Maybe so, but I've realized our child needs to learn not only the value of a dollar, but also needs to learn how to be grateful in life. It sucks this happened since it was part of her birthday. I didn't anticipate this type of behavior. It was upsetting. I felt like she slung crap at me. Now, every time I look at my truck, all I can think, it's a grandpa truck. Is he the asshole?
No. Well, yeah. Yes and no.
Okay.
He is the asshole.
You're having a moment with this.
Well, I am because I have an opinion. He is an asshole for giving a 16-year-old a vehicle. Any vehicle.
Well, I think the outright sign it over to her, which I'm sitting here having issues with because she's 16. I didn't think you could, but maybe that's a specific part of the state they're in.
Right. And yes, a 16-year-old can own a vehicle.
Okay. I didn't think you could, but anywho. I'm good. I'm fine. Like, it's not a big deal. I was just having a moment with it. Like, I didn't know you could. Obviously, you can tell I did not get handed the title to a car on my 16th birthday.
Right.
So yeah, that didn't happen. But no, I kind of have to say I'm with his wife a little bit. I also think she fucked up. She knows she fucked up. She figured it out pretty quick. I do appreciate the fact that he's sticking by his guns on that one of you fucked up, you're not getting a truck now. Like, you want a truck, get a job, get a truck.
Right.
Or a Jeep or whatever you want to once you pay for it.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that she's an asshole, totally an asshole, a spoiled brat that hasn't worked a day in her life for anything. I think that he wants a Silverado really bad, so take and trade the truck in on trade-in. Let her figure out how to get her own car and make sure that it's a piece of shit.
Yeah. But now but here's the sticking point, and I think like all of it was running pretty normal until he printed out the McDonald's application, stuck it in an envelope, and handed it to her. Where are you with that specifically?
I'm perfectly fine with that. Okay, the way she was acting, I'm surprised he didn't hand her a bill for rent.
True. So we've got some comments coming in. So Devin, no kid should hold a title to a car they didn't purchase, and to let her possibly sell it like kids are responsible. Duh. Which she could have. Like if you're the title holder of the vehicle, you can do whatever you want to with it.
Exactly.
I hate that. Like, part of me kind of, loves the karma kick. That, like, after she acted like an idiot in the DMV,
right?
Then I'm assuming, called a best friend and was like, "Ew, my dad just tried to give me his truck."
Right.
And this best friend went, "Oh my God, what did you do?" And she was like, "I told him I wouldn't drive a grandpa truck, and then he said he wouldn't give it to me." And I'm assuming the best friend is the one with the brain.
No, I'm assuming the wife is the one with the brain that said, "I don't fucking think so."
Well, okay, but I mean, of the two teenage girls, the best friend is the one with the brain who comes back and says, "Girl, are you dumb?
Yeah.
If he signed the title to you, you own it. You could have sold it."
Right.
And gotten the car you wanted. But now,
you have to figure it out.
The keys every once in a while.
Exactly. If then.
Like,
this point, she wouldn't touch my vehicle. Like, I'd make her walk home from her events. She wouldn't be riding home, or Mama can pick her up. I'm driving my new Silverado.
Though, the funny thing about when 16-year-olds get a license, is I think for a lot of parents, there's that, like, as much as there's fear and trepidation and all of this, there's also that, like, light at the end of the tunnel, like, drive your effing self. I don't want to go out. I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to take you to school. You drive, you have a license, take yourself.
Right.
And I think for a lot of parents, it's a real struggle. Oh, yeah. Devin's like, my mom would have beat the brakes off of me for acting like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I understand. But at the same time, like, there is kind of that thing where I can understand a little.
Right.
Like, you kind of build up for certain birthdays. Like 16, you get your license, you hope to get a car.
Right.
And usually you're pretty set on what you want. You've dropped some hints, you've told people what you'd really like to have. I don't know the DMV was the right, like, I understand why he would do that at the DMV. I understand why.
Yeah.
You're already there.
Exactly.
Sign it over, let them process the paperwork. They'll mail the new title to her. You took care of everything all at once. It's a super dad move.
Right.
Super dad, like, efficiency move. Instead, you set yourself up for her to find out she was not getting the vehicle of her dreams.
Again, I think that you want that vehicle, you go earn that vehicle. I think he should not have even pulled that move. He should have looked there and said, "Great, you can drive home. By the way, I need to stop by Walmart," and moved on.
Yeah, probably would have been the better choice. It sounds like they are very comfortable. This wouldn't have been a stretch for any of them, like to have a third vehicle and, for her to get the truck. And then if you want to sell it or do whatever, I don't give a crap. I just want the moment of giving you my truck.
Right.
Because it gives me an excuse to go get a new truck. I get the feeling she's going to end up getting the truck, but not the title.
Right.
Because I don't think he's going to get over it. And I think he's probably going to find a lot of enjoyment going, how's the grandpa truck treating you?
Yeah.
You like your grandpa truck? Have fun in grandpa's truck.
No.
I'm the asshole that would do that. Like,
Yeah.
you started it. Like, that would be my moment. It would be like, you started this. I'm going to call it your grandpa truck from now on.
And exactly. This is my opinion. You get your first car when you bought the car yourself. At 14, you should have been doing something to save up. Hell, in this economy, at 12.
Well, I don't know. I know for a lot of families, it's a real struggle to sit there, and especially if you do have a little bit of wealth.
Right.
To sit there and justify potentially a child ending up with lower grades because they're exerting effort in after school hours to make money. Because what can happen for a lot of teens is with a goal like buying a car, that can become a very, lead you down a rabbit hole kind of thing. Not in terms of like illegal activity and all that, but like taking extra shifts, working extra hours, working harder than if you're just earning some pocket money to go like on dates and buy other smaller things you want. Cars are not cheap. Like she wants, like, and I'm assuming, like, let's assume for a moment, like she's a reasonable teenager. I know she isn't. She's already demonstrated that.
Right.
But like if she were to go look, and I'm going to back it up to 2010. Like if she went 1-to-1, if she were to go out, look for a 2010 Jeep Wrangler today, I'm trying to see where are we price wise.
Well, there was these two boys in school. They didn't come from the best households. They started out at 14. The first summer, they took their push mowers that they mowed their own lawns with and made enough money and saved it up and, of course, paid for dates and every damn thing else. But the next summer, they were able to buy rotting lawnmowers. So they're now 15. They spend the next summer mowing lawns all summer, shoveling snow all winter, blah, blah, blah. When they turned 16, they were able to go and buy their own S10s. S10s were really big. They were the in-car then. But it could also haul the riding tractors.
Okay.
They kept working until by the time they graduated high school, they were also a homeowner.
Okay. Well, and again, that's awesome. But I think for some parents, it's also a fear. If you're trying to get your child into college, if they're exerting a lot of effort in after school that could be spent studying, that could be spent in extracurricular activities, that could be spent on, extra classes.
Right.
To invest that time there when you know that going to college is on their event horizon. And that these can sometimes be the very things that get them into better schools, that get them better, grant money, scholarships.
Right.
That they wouldn't ordinarily get.
Right.
Because it's gotten really competitive to get into college.
Right.
And it keeps getting more competitive. So for a lot of, parents of teens,
right,
there's been a pretty big shift in the focus between getting a job and getting the things that you need to stand out from a sea of applicants so that you can get better funded for college and get into better schools.
Well, here's the problem, and here's the big problem for me. In today's world, you need to learn to be able to balance work, education, and life. And, it's the same thing about keeping classrooms small in high school, under 23 people. That ain't going to help them in college. That ain't going to help them on how to balance stuff. We're always wanting our kids to do better than us. Then teach them how to manage multiple things.
Mm-hmm.
We have people now that can't handle 2 jobs because it's more than 8 hours and require a day off. In this economy, you can't take that.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I still though have that moment of at some point, no, you kind of have to have the day off. You kind of have to have, it depends upon what you're doing and like the level it requires you at.
Right.
I don't want a surgeon that works 2 jobs and 16-hour days.
Right, but I want an emergency room doctor that understands what 36 hours of work is.
Right. Well, I don't know that you get like in that scenario. I don't know that that's inherently getting the best patient care.
Right, but I strictly believe the reason that we have the level of college dropout in the freshman year is because they don't know how to deal with multiple facets of life. She is 16 years old. She should be able to handle work, school, and any extracurricular activities that she needs. They are only in school 8 hours a day. They are only in school 6 to 9 months a year. There's a lot of opportunities. I mean, right now it took us forever to find lawn guys, and we always hope they continue on being lawn guys. With the number of teenagers in our neighborhood, it is ridiculous.
It is. Well, and especially some of the teenagers, and we're making some assumptions about our teenage population because they do spend a lot of time free roaming the neighborhood, looking very much like they're so bored they just want to do whatever.
Right.
So, okay, if you parlay that into investing effort into doing something that makes money, that would be a good thing.
Right.
Instead, you hop in a shopping cart and go careening down our street, and like we're just waiting for one of you to die.
Right.
Not because we want you to, but because this is bad.
Right, and this is a mostly semi-retired to semi-retiring neighborhood. For a teenager, this should be a cash cow all year long. All year long. Snowstorm, get your shovel, go shovel. Believe me, I used to make money off this neighborhood. I know the money that is here. And apparently our newspaper delivery person has poor aim. Definitely, you could be making your money in this neighborhood. Between housekeeping, babysitting, because we do have some younger people moving in, lawn mowing, snow shoveling, cash is here. There's no teenagers for it. Our lawn crew is probably they've got to be in their 30s and 40s now.
Yeah. Well, but at the same time, we don't know these families very closely. Like, I feel like there should be some warnings put on what we're saying. We don't know these families well. We know the kids are there. We see them.
At 4 in the morning.
Yeah, at 4 in the morning and blah, blah, blah. I don't know what they're doing otherwise. Maybe they are babysitting. Maybe they are doing things that make money. Maybe they have an online business that we know nothing about. Possibly. I don't know. You don't know. We don't know.
Right.
But judgmentally, as a neighbor, it doesn't really look that way.
Right.
And then it's like, hi, could you look around this neighborhood? You have opportunities. There's things you could be doing. Like, you were talking about it being a mostly retired neighborhood, and that was true when I moved in like 5 years ago.
Right.
But meanwhile, like our retirees died or started dying. A lot of the houses have gone back up on the market. We have new neighbors. We have new people moving in. We have younger families moving in. Like the demographics of this neighborhood really shook up.
Right. But at the same time, there are still money-making opportunities here that aren't being filled But
Yeah.
we've got teenagers on the streets. Granted, when I was young, we were there was like us and maybe one other set of teenagers on the street.
Mm-hmm.
But it was money all over the place, and it still is that way because we've got middle-aged professionals here that do not have time to do grass, that do not have time to do
glad to give you some money.
Yeah, here's $20. Go clean out the driveway.
Right. And I think on the other side of us, we have neighbors that give him probably another 4 years, 3 years.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be an industrious little young man.
Well, I think that we need to normalize, and we're getting out of this, normalize 16-year-olds working, 18-year-olds working, not 27-year-olds working. Their first job.
Yeah. I don't know. We've keep upping the bar though, in terms of what employers want.
Right.
And it does unfortunately mean that for many, the academic rigor of it,
right,
the requirements to speak not only a second language but now a third or a fourth, is a preferred candidate requirement. To have unpaid internships is now a preferred requirement. Like to get those prestigious internships. Like we keep adding to the requirements list. I think mostly because the candidate pool kept leveling up.
Right. Well, now the pool is decreasing.
It's thinning out. Now it's take what you can get and suck it up.
Exactly. All right, so on to poly relationship advice.
All right. Diminishing returns, in quotes, on touch and intimacy. I've become aware of a dynamic that I've had over the years that I'm kind of struggling to make sense of. I'm a dude, and I've been poly for 20 years at this point. I've noticed that in my longer-term relationships, I'll get quite a bit out of just being close with or touching or general intimacy with a partner. It feels deeply fulfilling and makes me very happy. That feeling tends to diminish over time. After about 3 to 4 years, I start getting to the point where, if I have no other partners, I actively start feeling the effects of being deprived of touch. I still deeply love the person I'm with and I enjoy being close with them, but it doesn't scratch the same itch, for lack of a better term, that it did. I'm not bored with this person. I'm still very happy with them. I still want to be close to them, but it just doesn't feel as fulfilling as it did initially. It's not NRE wearing off. I am uncomfortably familiar with NRE's effects, and it's not that. Whatever it is, it can get to the point where I can actively start feeling skin hunger develop after a certain amount of time. It can and has definitely affected my relationships. The only real answers I've found for something like this is borderline evo-psych biological determinism, wherein because man want to have many babies, man wants to find other person to fuck after a certain length of time. While I think there might be a grain of truth to that, it seems way too simplistic an answer.
I agree.
Okay.
That's
it? That's all you got?
No.
I agree.
Well, I agree that there is around 3/4 years, there comes a point in a relationship, every relationship, and it's this famous line, the honeymoon is over.
Right.
Okay. It's kind of like your brain adjusts to that chemical being there.
Yeah. You're there. You're always there. You're there.
Right. Now, that's when couples tend to break up in multiple communities, not just the poly community, in the straight community too. Most divorces happen between the 4th year of marriage and the 7th year of marriage. Here's the bigger issue, the bigger problem, the bigger situation, is you have to then rediscover the person, rediscover the changes, rediscover the growth, start upping the chemical release. Start upping and seeing like where things are at. And you and your partner have to be on the same page there. Like, hey, I'm not getting X, Y, and Z. I don't feel X, Y, and Z. We need to fix this, or it will create a greater divide.
Mm-hmm.
Because this theory that you're always in love with this person and you always want... No. There are days you don't want them. There are days that and people don't talk about this. You fall in and out of love with a person sometimes by the day.
Or the hour.
Sometimes. But relationships ebb and flow. And if you are not keeping your communication up, if you are not expressing your desires, not demanding them, expressing them, if you are not having a dialogue with that person that is more than the car needs gas, pick up chicken, I need peanut butter, where's my coffee, have you seen my leggings, yada, 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 you're in trouble.
Yeah. All right.
What's your take?
I'm going to liken this, and this may be weird, but I'm going to go back to the panini.
Okay.
You know, when we all stopped wearing real clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And we started living in like athleisure.
Mm-hmm.
We all started living in like this Donald Duck world where we were dressed for what would show on a Zoom meeting.
Mm-hmm.
When we, you know what I mean? Like that was where we wore real clothes, was from the waist up, and from the waist down, it was what the hell ever.
Uh-huh.
You know, if you're sitting there in a pair of boxers, no one's going to know. If you're sitting there in a pair of ratty pajama pants, no one's going to know. Whatever. Okay, so, and personally chose athleisure. Like, I can have on a, polo from the waist up. I'm sitting here in a pair of gym shorts.
Mm-hmm.
That's 99%. So we did that whole panini thing.
Uh-huh.
And everything was virtual, and no one wore real clothes for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Am I the only one that put on, like, my structured actual pants? And it felt weird?
No.
Like, it was just weird. It was so effing weird. Like, they touched wrong. They felt icky. The material was, And it was just, I used to wear these pants and love them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But now the waist feels wrong, not just because of weight changes and stuff like that, but like the waist feels wrong. The legs are touching wrong. They touched my whole body, and it was weird and different. But I love these jeans. I've had these jeans. I've worn these jeans. They've been in my closet.
Mm-hmm.
What changed in that period of time? I didn't wear them.
Mm-hmm.
I got out of wearing things that were not soft and comfy and just, whatever. Or literally having anything touch me from the knee to like the toe line.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't do that. I think a lot of it is in using that analogy or that scenario. I think in relationships, we have that. We do this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a problem with those jeans because I wore those jeans all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, I stopped feeling them.
Right.
Somewhere back in my past, many, 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 many years ago. But
right.
when I don't do that for a while,
right,
all of a sudden, it's a whole new experience. It's a
right.
whole new thing. It connects with my brain that, oh my God, there's this material touching me.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it's a new experience. I think what happens is in relationships, and especially when it comes to physical touch, is we're all creatures of habit.
Mm-hmm.
And we get used to the way someone feels next to us. And I think at some point, like, your brain's not engaged anymore. I know what this is.
Mm-hmm.
I know you are there. And much like he's saying, there can be that moment of like, there's nothing new here.
Right.
I like, your brain's sitting there going, what do you want me to think? What do you want me to do? I know all this. I like,
Right.
versus if you take a little time apart, if you do different things, if you get into a different routine, if you break the rut,
Mm-hmm.
and you spend a little time apart, you don't do this every night, and you do different things, and you're not repeating the same thing over and over, you can reignite that initial, oh, right, I forgot what this feels like. I like this. Now I have new inputs.
Right. Well, not only that, but you've got to, and this is a problem I've had and seen in multiple relationships. You start letting the standard drop.
Okay.
Okay. You know, your new boyfriend, let me flip that. My new boyfriend can't get away with things you can get away with.
Okay.
You know, because it's like, it's Joe. He'll forget to pick up the right, you know, he'll pick up the high-calorie cream cheese on Tuesday. That's fine. I'll go buy it again. Whereas it's the new person. How dare you pick up the wrong cream cheese?
Because I'm going to, like, I didn't manage to train the first one right. I'll see what I can do for you. What?
And that's just an example. You get used to personal habits.
Hmm?
You know, you get used to having to repeat yourself over and over and over again because they don't listen. Either by choice or by fear, they don't listen. You just get used to it, and then it's like you wake up and it's like, who is this unferal human in my house? You know, and it's because you know, like, oh, I don't feel, you know, that doesn't feel the same as it did 10 years ago. Well, no, duh, you're used to it. You know, that's a problematical situation that you're allowing to create because you're not keeping the intimacy going. You're not pointing out, hey, we ain't had intimacy in a while. Hey, you said that last time. You said that for 5 months now. Can we change that up? Can you do something different? Can we change this up? That's the thing to keep relationships moving, is keeping yourself connected and present in today and not getting used to the pattern over and over again, and noticing when their patterns change.
Mm-hmm.
And going, do I like this change now? Is this change cheapening what we have together? Yes. Okay, how do we fix that?
Okay. Well, and it didn't sound like his problem was that there was, you know, no intimacy or a lack of intimacy. That exactly. It's just that, like, brain bored with intimacy.
Well, it's
Because
brain
I know
bored
what
with
to
the same
expect.
intimacy.
Yeah, like, same inputs. I got nothing new to work with here. I'm kind of bored.
Right.
Like, I can't give you the same releases in your brain because nothing new.
Right.
And I think that's ultimately where it's at. Is no, it's not NRE exactly.
Right.
It's just at some point,
right.
Like, yeah, I know you're going to move this direction. Yeah, I know what, you know, this area of your shoulder feels like.
Right.
Like, and like, unless you have a new, like, unless you get a mole or, you know, a rough patch of skin or a cut.
Right.
At some point, my brain just doesn't process.
Right.
And it's not sexy to touch you there. It's not sexy to be touched there. It's just like, yeah, that's what you always do.
Yep.
And so, yeah, it is some of the difference of a new partner.
Right.
On both sides is they will not touch you the same way. They don't feel the same.
Mm-hmm.
There is a difference.
Right.
Even if you're doing all the same things, it's all new inputs. It's a whole new person. So I think that dismissing NRE outright was unfortunate.
Right.
Because is it exactly NRE? No.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a longer term version of, like, different person, different experience.
Right. Well, it's like those empanadas you go crazy over every time. The last time we were in North Carolina.
Yes, those were amazing.
Yeah. You get same excitement out of them as you do the, I don't know, the, I cooked it the other night.
What, the pad
Pad
thai?
thai.
Yeah.
Do you get the same excitement out of both those dishes as you do now?
No.
No. Pad thai is pad thai. You get that all the time.
We've done that.
Yeah.
We know what that is.
Right.
But it was exciting when we brought that in, and we bring in new recipes into our diet all the time. I think we fail a lot to do that, and Brenda kind of makes this point. People follow the recipe that's always worked. That's sometimes exactly what the problem is.
Mm-hmm.
Is you just fall into a pattern, and when you do that, like, there's no new inputs. That's not new. That's not different. I have nothing to work with here.
Right.
I know the inevitable course that this is headed down. I know when you do X, you expect Y to occur.
Right.
And we're just going to keep doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not a bad thing.
Right.
But it can become one when you're starting to have that moment of, like, I'm not getting anything out of this.
Right.
This isn't doing it for me. This doesn't excite me. This does not make me feel sexy. This does not make me feel anything.
Right.
Not because you're not touching me, not because we're not being intimate, but because it's just nope.
Right.
Like, I'm bored with this routine.
Yeah. So start a new routine. Change the routine. Tell your partner this ain't working. And figure out something different. That doesn't mean get a new partner. That means rediscover your partner.
Mm-hmm.
Or point out things that your partner stopped doing.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
All right, let's see who wins the asshole debate this week. And it's pretty clear, once again. Nope, not the asshole dad.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
So go enjoy your grandpa truck.
Enjoy your new Silverado and the lesser loan you had to take out because you traded in the car. And let her earn it on her own.
Yeah, though something tells me after he gets the Silverado, what's going to happen next, I will predict it.
Mm-hmm.
If there were a follow-up, is give it a few months, he'll calm down and get over the grandpa truck comment.
Mm-hmm.
And being scared to death of his teenage daughter driving his brand new Silverado, she will get something like a Jeep Wrangler.
Exactly.
Or she'll get a little blue, like, Spark.
Oh, I would.
Just to be hateful.
Right. All right, guys. You have a great evening. We will see you on Sunday. Bye, y'all. I caught you, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
There you go.
All right, thank you. I was like, did he forget? And of course, I was logged into the wrong thing. All right, so of course we want to thank Beverly Walker, Mika G, Kathy, Mary Winfield, Brenda, Shannon C, Shannon D, Lady Gwendolyn, Charles Shaw, Dottie the Psychic, Tracy Van, Caitlin Bell, and Devin. If you'd like to learn more about us, the show, or how you too can become a Patreon sponsor and receive all the wonderful benefits our baristas receive, please visit us at pcspnetwork.com.
All right, guys. Have a great night. Bye, y'all.
Bye.